Now buyers, I'll tell you my story in Palo Alto. I'm in Palo Alto the other day, right? And this poor woman comes up to me who's a very nice agent that I've known a long time, and she said, Carole, I have a PhD in patent attorneys in my office and a software engineer. And I won't tell you what culture, but it's a culture that likes to negotiate based on statistics and money. Enough said. And they have a house, 860 in Palo Alto, but they only want to pay 680. She said to me, it's the fourth offer, I'm going to lose these clients. I said, great, I'll come talk to them. So I go in, very nice. The guy says to me, oh, I know who you are, Sam, blah, 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 blah. So he says to me, could I spend the next 20 minutes? And on the table, he has all these reams of paper, like piled. Because he said, I've done a lot of research. And he said, my price is right. And she's trying to tell me 860, but everything that I have here shows me 680. Look at all, and I'd like to walk you through it. And I said, you don't have to because I agree with you. And this poor agent's looking at me like, oh my God, Carole, you're selling me down the river already. I said, I totally agree with you. I'm sure everything you said is correct. I'm sure every statistic is perfect. I said, it doesn't mean diddly. And I picked it up and I threw some on the floor. And I said, because it's all the past. And what I'm also going to tell you is, we're moving into the future now. And 14 people want this house. So 860 becomes the new price. And you know what else I'm going to tell you? It's not going to appraise for 860. I can't justify it. I can't show you a comp that'll justify that. But because 13 people want it, here's what's going to happen to you. You're not going to get this house because you want to bid 680. Tomorrow, 12 other people aren't going to get it either. They're running around to the next house. And it's not going to be 860 because you're going to be looking at 925,000 and you're going to have to bid even more. See, that's the magic of real estate, and that's what happens with demand and supply. So I can't show you statistics, so let's forget statistics for a minute. Why don't you come on a journey with me? What do you want to play, football or baseball? He said, I'll play baseball. We got a problem, I said. And the problem is you're trying to play football in a baseball stadium. So if you'd like 680, we need to go to East Palo Alto, because there I can find you a house for 680. But in Palo Alto proper, we're at 860. Now see, that's the entrance price into the baseball field. So we're either going to pay it or we're not. You don't want to pay it, it's okay. We can't go in. That's it. You got to decide now. We're at 860. No question about it. 13 other people set that price, not just you. I don't want to do that. I said, great. Then we have to go to East Palo Alto. We cannot stay here. You're not going to be able to buy in Palo, but I want to buy in Palo. Then you got to pay 860. So he decides, okay, he'll pay 860. Great. I said, now we're in the baseball diamond. He said, okay, then I'm going to offer 860. Another problem. I said, 12 people want to do this too, so we can't just offer 860. You're going to get one shot at bat. See, otherwise, usually we could walk around the bases. You could decide if you want to run, you want to walk, you want to do a single, a double. Now we don't have that option. Now we got to hit a home run. And the key about the home run is it can't just be a good home run. It's got to be one out the furthest out there. So you tell me where you want to go. You mean I have to go up above 860? I'm telling you, you got to go above 860. But I don't want to go above it. We're back to East Palo Alto. Let's go. I don't want to live in East Palo Alto. Then we got to find out what we're going to do. And I said, there's a formula. Oh, and this guy with the PhD is twinkling. A formula. Finally, this woman is talking something numbers, right? She's not an idiot. So I said, here's how I look at it. Anything from $200,000 to $400,000 in this multi-offer market is going to be $2,500 a bid. Because see, at the end of the day, we already know the foundation price. Now it's just how many bidders there are, because they're driving this market. See, it's not going to appraise. The banks aren't going to like it. There aren't comps. Anybody who was, who has, who is for sale doesn't make diddly. Now the bidders are what count. They're driving that now. So now, $2,500. Anything from $400,000 to $800,000, $5,000 an offer. Anything above that, at $800,000 to above, is probably $7,500 to $10,000. So he said to me, well, what's the mathematical formula that you used to get to that? I said, I didn't use one. I made it up. And he said to me, no, you can't make it up. I said, yes, I can. Because I watch the numbers, and that's what happens. The formula works. The numbers could change, but that's it. So you have to go from 860 to wherever you want to go based on how many people are going to bid against you. So I can only tell you I wish you luck. That's it. You're now playing baseball. Good luck. Go in there, be Barry Bonds, hit a home run, and I hope you get your house. And I said goodbye. And she said for 10 minutes the man didn't say a word. He was like in cardiac arrest. So at the end of the day, that's your multi-offer buyer who isn't getting it. Now let me tell you the magic of the high end. This is a magical place right now. And I will tell you that they are basically of two types. One is the premium buyer who doesn't care, all right? They will because they can, and they don't care. And they will compete against one another. And the best thing you can do in the high end, if I was working in the high end, here's what I would do. I would probably do some unique high-end marketing. I think I would basically put some effort into that. I think it's all about network and your Rolodex, because they go and they buy from who they know and everybody else. And I would want to get competition going. If I had a property that was listed for $4 or $5, $10 million, I would want to segment a group of the population in an industry. So I might go to the tech industry and I would let all of them know, and I would do glossies and full page ads, because you want a basically Yahoo person competing against a Google person, competing against a Salesforce.com person, competing against a Groupon person, because see, then it's not about the house. Then it becomes a deal. Then it becomes the art of I can do it because I'm better than you are and I'm wealthier than you are. And that's how you get it going. That's the key to the high end if you want to get a premium buyer and you'd like to get a multiple offer. To have somebody who's a doctor, a lawyer, that doesn't work. International buyers are good also. Russians are the best because they love to spend money. Canadians bought 27% of high-end properties here. That's unusual. We don't know that. But if you can get a Russian bidding against an Asian, that's a good thing, because they basically then see themselves as competitors. And if you can get a Middle Easterner competing against a Russian, you know, they're all about oil. Now you got something going. So that's the premium buyer. Let me tell you what's amazing that I just heard. It's how these people are going to finance these properties. I was in Carmel the other day, and I could not believe this. A $4 million house sold, not for money, for stock in an unlisted, not public company. And so I went with the agent to talk to the seller because I was amazed. I've heard of people taking stock in a public company, but this is not public. And you know what the seller told me? I know that this company is going to go public within the next 18 months. And when it does, and I think he's right, it'll be worth double what it is right now. So he had no problem taking stock, and I think you're going to begin to see that. A lot of stock in lieu of cash. So you better get used to it, figure out how you're going to work with that and how you're going to deal with it. The other thing is, a lot of these people, the sellers, are going to be willing to take first against some of these properties, because some of these buyers are going to put money down. Maybe not all, they could, but they don't want to. Or the seller's going to say, wait a minute. I don't want to take $10 million in cash, have to pay taxes, capital gains are going up. I'd rather have an installment sale because I want to get 6 to 7% on my money, and the only way I can do that is by taking a second. Because you can't get 6 or 7% with no risk in this world. So I'll take my house, which I know just from time and appreciation, it'll be worth the same or better, and at the end of the day, I want to get that 6, 7% over a 5-year period. So you're going to see very creative financing now at the high end, and that's the key. The key is going to be the numbers for these people, because here's what you have to understand. All these people that we talk about in tech, they are basically creating a revolution, and it's the smartphone and what we're doing with it and everything. Think of the magic of how productive and profitable it is. It's a pipe they use. It's free. And they've convinced everybody from Sunday, from advertisers to you and me, to basically everybody, to go on it, to text, to blog, to pay, to look at cameras, to look at pictures, to send notes, to social network, to text, to whatever. And you're all addicted to your phones. We all are. You know that. You're all going to run to your phones the minute you get out of here. You know you are. And you know and I know you're going to pay money to categorize it, to keep it straight, so that when you want to tune, it's not on one thing and you can't remember, it'll be on everything. You know we're going to do all that. So at the end of the day, these companies match people. So Facebook, 800 million users a month now. 53 billion minutes last month people spent there, all right? Spending money, looking at companies, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, at the end of the day. So at the end of the day, they have created a revolution. And at the end of the day, then, these are not people that come out of operations, all right, where they're an HR, human resource VP. These are very creative people who basically are into leverage, and they're into deal making. And so they're going to look at the numbers, and that's going to be very important to them, especially at the high end. They'll want to structure a deal, and it's not going to be your typical traditional deal. So begin to start to be creative, work with your people here at Western Bancorp, and get some creative financing and get networked for that, all right? Because I think that's important. So at the end of the day, I think real estate is in a great place. I am not concerned about it at all in the San Francisco Bay Area. I think commercial shows us that. The numbers are back to almost where they were before. Vacancy is down. All these companies are scrambling to get space all over. I think what you have to understand is, here's the difference. You live in the old world of real estate. Great, stay there. You got to get into the new world. And everyone says, but we don't like to change, Carol. I don't like the internet. Look, when I went to school, I thought correctotype was like we died and went to heaven, because you didn't have to type over a whole page, all right? I thought that was heaven. So you can imagine a person my age trying to work. Look, it's happened. The thing about change, and I said this to Gino at breakfast yesterday, is it changes. It's done, or you wouldn't know it was changed. So forget it. Quit whining about it. It doesn't matter. It's done. And you have a new world of real estate. Sellers and buyers are important. Appraisals, forget it. You're never going to have control of them anymore. The banks, they're not loaning money, and I'll tell you why. I just did a big presentation for the Bank of America the other day. And here's the dilemma that they have. They were encouraged to go out and buy all these companies in trouble, like Wachovia, Washington Mutual, Countrywide, and Merrill Lynch, right? So they bought it, got all the crap on their books. Now that they have all the crap, the government is coming in and wants to penalize them for the crap that they have, plus what they did, which was basically too loosey-goosey. So the Bank of America has a $50 billion basically problem on their books. Now, the government comes in and says, start loaning money. Well, they're not going to loan any money. They're going to basically keep it all on reserves to pay all the suits. They're being sued by the SEC. They're being sued by 14 state attorney generals for everything that happened in their states, and 18,000 private lawsuits so far to date. And here's the problem. They have thousands of these sitting there. And they said when you go to look at them, you don't know who's untitled. Half of them were straw buyers. None of the information is correct. Some of them were used as rentals. They weren't basically primary ownership. Everything in them is wrong. So it would take 20 years to figure one out. So they're just trying to do it the best they can. Now you have a seller. That seller's gone. They got foreclosed on. They're suing them because they said you shouldn't have done that to us. The buyer that came in now is being told get out because the seller wants the house back. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's a mess. So at the end of the day, that means that lending is going to be tough and tight. So then it's inventory, days on the market, whether it's distressed, whether we're going to appreciate what's happening. And may the government, dear God, please get out of the housing market. That would be the best thing that could happen. They don't know what they're doing. They never know what they're doing. At the end of the day, they delay and screw everything up. So in spite of that, I think you're going to have a very good next year. I think you stay focused. You get out there. The Christmas tree in the forest, you got to stand out. Call your clients, have a last-minute conversation with them, see if some of them can refi, if they can move up because of interest rates. All those things are important. So I'm not down on real estate at all. I think real estate, when you look at it against all the other investments out there, see how beautiful it looks now? Now it's the best thing since chocolate cake. You see that?